Welcome to another quiet night. Tonight we'll travel through time, into the faded memories of the Soviet Union, a world of communal apartments, factory rhythms, and the gentle hum of lives lived close together. As you listen, let your thoughts slow down. Let each sound, each word, settle softly in your mind. If this story brings you peace, please remember to like the video, so I know to bring you more calm journeys like this. And when you wake, share a thought in the comments below. I read every one. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let's begin our story. The corridor is quiet. Dim light flickers from a single bulb, casting tired shadows across peeling paint and old wallpaper. Natasha wakes early, before the city stirs. She opens her door into the cool air of the shared hallway. The scent of tea, soap, and dust mixed with the faint hum of morning. Doors creak softly. A kettle whistles from somewhere far down the hall. Behind thin walls, 7 other families begin their day, each with their own sounds, their own rhythm. Natasha listens to the whispers and footsteps. Someone laughs sleepily. Someone knocks, asking, "Who's next for the bathroom?" This is her world, a place where space is shared, and every sound belongs to everyone. She smiles faintly. The sameness of it all feels strangely safe. Steam curls through the narrow doorway. 8 families share this kitchen, 8 kettles, 8 plates, and one long, scarred wooden table. Natasha steps inside, her slippers brushing the cold floor. The window fogs with heat from boiling water. Spoons clink against enamel cups. Voices murmur, layered like soft music, a mix of greetings, sighs, and gentle argument over stove time. She finds her place, a small section of counter she calls her own. Her breakfast is simple: black bread, a slice of apple, and weak tea. But as the steam rises, the air fills with something warm, a feeling of shared life, of quiet togetherness. An old radio hums in the corner, playing a faded tune from a state broadcast. Outside, snow begins to fall. Inside, people move slowly, not rushing, not resting, just being. The hallway outside the bathroom is always the same. Someone waits with a towel over their arm. Someone knocks, impatient but polite. A clock ticks faintly in the distance. Natasha leans against the wall, listening to the running water behind the door. She can tell who's inside by the rhythm of the sounds. Mrs. Ivanova hums softly. The student shaves in silence. The old man coughs twice before turning off the tap. Everyone knows the order. Everyone waits their turn. It's not written anywhere, but it's understood. When it's finally her turn, the air is damp and warm. She washes her face, watches her reflection blur in the small cracked mirror. The glass fogs, and she whispers quietly to herself, "Just another day." The tram rattles gently down the frosted street. Its windows are fogged with breath and winter air. Natasha stands near the back, her gloved hands gripping the cold metal rail. People sway together with the motion, a quiet crowd wrapped in scarves and silence. The smell of coal and snow mixes with the sound of boots, the creak of wooden seats, and the conductor's soft call for tickets. Outside, the city blurs, gray buildings, red banners, and a river of smoke drifting above the rooftops. Natasha watches the faces around her. Tired eyes, soft smiles, everyone thinking of the same thing: a warm place, a full cup of tea. The end of the workday still hours away. She exhales slowly, the window glass fogging beneath her breath. The tram bell rings, and life moves quietly forward. The factory looms ahead, a city within a city. Brick walls, iron pipes, and the steady pulse of machinery echoing from inside. Natasha walks through the gates with hundreds of others. Each person knows their place, their rhythm, their sound. The air smells of oil, dust, and metal. Steam drifts from vents like breath from the earth itself. Men and women move in unison, coats brushing against each other, boots striking the concrete in soft, synchronized thuds. Clarkson hangs her scarf on a nail and begins her shift beside the turning gears. The machines hum, steady, a heartbeat made of steel. But inside her mind, there's quiet, a strange peace in repetition, a rhythm she knows by heart. The machines never stop. A low hum fills the hall, mixing with the clatter of metal and the hiss of steam. Natasha ties her hair back under her scarf, moving carefully to her station. Her hands find the rhythm automatically: turn, lift, adjust, repeat. Around her, co-workers move in silence. Some hum soft tunes from memory. Some tap their feet in time with the machines. The factory is alive, yet quiet in its own mechanical way. Each worker a gear, each gear keeping the pulse steady. A smell of hot metal and oil hangs in the air. It is sharp, earthy, and strangely comforting. Time stretches, hours melt into one long, steady beat. Natasha glances toward the window. Outside, the sky is pale and gray. But inside, the warmth of shared work creates a small, hidden world of its own. At last, a pause. Natasha carries her small tin lunch to a corner by the window. Steam rises from her tea, curling slowly into the cold air. The hall smells of bread and roasted vegetables, mixed with the faint scent of oil and iron from the machines. She sits quietly watching snowflakes drift past the glass. A coworker smiles softly, offering half of her apple. They don't speak much, but the gesture is enough. A small act of connection in a vast, noisy place. The room hums gently, cutlery tapping, soft exhalations, distant voices. Outside, the city waits silently. Inside, for a few minutes, life softens into calm, warmth, and quiet reflection. The whistle blows again. Machines roar to life. Natasha moves back to her station, her hands finding the motions she has repeated 1,000 times before. The sound is hypnotic, clanking, whirring, humming. It becomes a lullaby of productivity. Her mind floats, observing the patterns of work, the small smiles, the quiet gestures between coworkers, the shared endurance of long days. Occasionally, she glances at the clock. Minutes stretch into hours. Yet there is comfort in the predictability. The rhythm is slow, steady, unchanging. Outside, gray light begins to shift toward dusk. Inside, life continues, a quiet pulse beneath the metallic heartbeat of the factory. The workday ends. Natasha steps outside, and the chill of evening wraps around her. The streets glow with soft lamplight. Steam rises from chimneys, curling into the darkening sky. She walks slowly, noticing small details. The worn bricks of the buildings, the footprints in the snow, the warm light spilling from apartment windows. A child laughs in the distance, a dog trots across the square, and somewhere, a radio plays a familiar, faint tune. The city feels vast and quiet at once, a place of routine and gentle wonder, where even small moments hold beauty if one takes the time to notice. Natasha inhales deeply, letting the cold air fill her lungs, and smiles softly at the simple magic of the evening. At last, she returns home. The building creaks softly as she climbs the stairs. The hallway is quiet now, shadows stretching across the walls. A faint light glows from beneath a few doors, neighbors preparing for bed or reading by candlelight. Natasha enters her room. The sheets are cool, the pillow soft. She lights a single candle, the flame flickering gently. Its warm glow paints the walls with moving patterns, and the faint scent of wax mingles with the air. She sits on the bed, cradling her cup of tea, watching snow swirl softly outside the window. The world slows, and the quiet pulse of life whispers, "Rest now, tomorrow will come gently in its own rhythm." Her eyes grow heavy, and slowly, she drifts into the soft embrace of sleep. The candle flickers, casting soft, golden shadows across the walls. Natasha cradles her cup of tea, the warmth seeping into her hands, into her chest, into the quiet corners of her mind. She listens to the faint hum of the building, pipes settling, wind brushing against the windows, a distant laugh that quickly fades. It is the sound of life continuing quietly, gently, far away from chaos. Sipping slowly, she allows her thoughts to drift. Moments of the day replay softly, the shared smiles in the kitchen, the hum of the machines, the rhythm of footsteps in the corridor. Each memory feels like a small star in the darkness, a reminder that even in the most ordinary moments, there is beauty, warmth, and connection. The world outside the window is silent, and inside, Natasha breathes slowly, letting herself sink deeper into calm. A folded letter lies on the table, ink faded, edges worn. Natasha opens it slowly, tracing the handwriting with her fingers. It is from an old friend, far away, speaking of days like these, quiet, gray, ordinary, yet filled with small joys. She reads softly, letting the words linger in the air like a gentle breeze. Laughter from long ago echoes faintly in her mind. She remembers walks through snow-covered streets, shared meals, whispered secrets, and the feeling of the city wrapped around them like a warm coat. Folding the letter carefully, she tucks it inside her book. Some memories are meant to be held close, quiet treasures kept safe, small lights to guide her through the grayest days. Natasha steps onto the narrow balcony. The winter air kisses her cheeks, crisp and clean. Below, the street is empty, lit by the soft glow of lamps and snow reflecting pale light. She leans against the railing, breathing slowly, watching the quiet city she knows so well. Somewhere far off, a dog barks. A window opens and closes. The wind carries a faint melody of someone singing. For a moment, the world feels suspended, like time itself has slowed to listen. Natasha closes her eyes, feeling the pulse of the city, gentle, steady, enduring. And in the soft chill of night, she feels peace, a small, perfect moment she can hold forever. Returning inside, Natasha walks the familiar corridor. The light above flickers, thin and yellow, casting long shadows. She listens to the quiet sounds behind doors, neighbors moving softly, someone reading, someone humming, someone settling into bed. The building itself seems to breathe, its old pipes sighing gently, its walls holding memories of countless days. She pauses at her own door, hands resting on the knob. The hallway feels like a river, and she is floating gently within it, carried by the quiet rhythm of shared life, where every sound, every breath, is part of a larger, enduring heartbeat. Natasha lies down, pulling the covers close. The candle's glow fades softly, shadows retreating to corners. She closes her eyes, listening to the soft pulse of the night. The distant tram, the wind over rooftops, the quiet murmur of the building settling into stillness. Her thoughts are light, drifting like snowflakes. Memories of the day, of laughter, of small kindnesses, rise and fall like gentle waves. And slowly, the world fades away. Only warmth remains, only quiet, and the gentle, steady heartbeat of life beneath the red sky. Natasha exhales, and with that single breath, she drifts into sleep. The first light of dawn slips softly through the frost-covered window. Pale orange and gray blend across the walls, painting the room in quiet warmth. Natasha stirs gently, stretching under the covers. The air is crisp, and she can smell the faint scent of the city waking. Smoke curling from chimneys, the soft rumble of trams beginning their routes. She takes a deep breath, feeling the calm of early morning. The world is still mostly asleep, yet quietly moving. It is a moment of serenity, a pause before the rhythm of life begins again. Natasha whispers to herself, another day, quietly beginning. The hallway hums softly with the stirrings of the building. Natasha steps into the small, shared bathroom. Steam rises from the basin, curling in slow, gentle ribbons. The sound of running water blends with distant voices, neighbors brushing their hair, washing their faces, preparing quietly for the day. She washes her face slowly, savoring the warmth and clarity of the water. Each drop feels like a soft rhythm, each reflection in the cracked mirror a gentle reminder. Life continues quietly, patiently, one small act at a time. The communal kitchen smells faintly of bread and tea. Natasha sits at her corner of the table, spooning warm porridge into a bowl. Steam rises lazily, curling around her hands and into the air. Outside the window, snowflakes drift gently, melting on the sill. The quiet clink of cutlery, murmured greetings, and soft laughter blend together into a gentle morning melody. She takes a sip of tea, letting the warmth seep into her chest. For a few calm moments, the world is simple. Shared space, shared life, and the soft, comforting rhythm of ordinary mornings. The tram rattles slowly through the awakening city. Frost clings to the windows, softening the view of gray buildings and red banners. Natasha stands, hands lightly gripping the metal rail. Her breath fogs the glass. Around her, commuters sway quietly, each caught in their own gentle rhythm. The hum of the tram, the distant clatter of boots on stone, and the occasional murmur of conversation create a soft, steady lullaby. She watches the world blur past, not in hurry, not in stress, but in a calm, flowing movement, as if the city itself is breathing in quiet time. The factory looms quietly in the pale morning light. Steam rises from vents, curling into the cold air. Natasha walks through the gates slowly, feeling the familiar weight of routine. Inside, the machines hum gently, their rhythm almost musical. Co-workers move with quiet precision, each step, each motion blending into a steady, comforting pattern. Natasha finds her station and settles in. The clatter and hiss of machinery surround her, yet her mind drifts softly, watching small movements, noticing quiet gestures, feeling the pulse of life flowing steadily through the day. And in that rhythm, she feels a gentle, enduring calm. At last, she returns home. The building creaks softly as she climbs the stairs. The hallway is quiet now, shadows stretching across the walls. A faint light glows from beneath a few doors. Neighbors preparing for bed or reading by candlelight. Natasha enters her room. The sheets are cool, the pillow soft. She lights a single candle, the flame flickering gently. Its warm glow paints the walls with moving patterns, and the faint scent of wax mingles with the air. She sits on the bed, cradling her cup of tea, watching snow swirl softly outside the window. The world slows, and the quiet pulse of life whispers, "Rest now, tomorrow will come gently in its own rhythm." Her eyes grow heavy, and slowly, she drifts into the soft embrace of sleep. The candle flickers, casting soft, golden shadows across the walls. Natasha cradles her cup of tea, the warmth seeping into her hands, into her chest, into the quiet corners of her mind. She listens to the faint hum of the building, pipes settling, wind brushing against the windows, a distant laugh that quickly fades. It is the sound of life continuing quietly, gently, far away from chaos. Sipping slowly, she allows her thoughts to drift. Moments of the day replay softly, the shared smiles in the kitchen, the hum of the machines, the rhythm of footsteps in the corridor. Each memory feels like a small star in the darkness, a reminder that even in the most ordinary moments, there is beauty, warmth, and connection. The world outside the window is silent, and inside, Natasha breathes slowly, letting herself sink deeper into calm. A folded letter lies on the table, ink faded, edges worn. Natasha opens it slowly, tracing the handwriting with her fingers. It is from an old friend, far away, speaking of days like these, quiet, gray, ordinary, yet filled with small joys. She reads softly, letting the words linger in the air like a gentle breeze. Laughter from long ago echoes faintly in her mind. She remembers walks through snow-covered streets, shared meals, whispered secrets, and the feeling of the city wrapped around them like a warm coat. Folding the letter carefully, she tucks it inside her book. Some memories are meant to be held close, quiet treasures kept safe, small lights to guide her through the grayest days. Natasha steps onto the narrow balcony. The winter air kisses her cheeks, crisp and clean. Below, the street is empty, lit by the soft glow of lamps and snow reflecting pale light. She leans against the railing, breathing slowly, watching the quiet city she knows so well. Somewhere far off, a dog barks. A window opens and closes. The wind carries a faint melody of someone singing. For a moment, the world feels suspended, like time itself has slowed to listen. Natasha closes her eyes, feeling the pulse of the city, gentle, steady, enduring. And in the soft chill of night, she feels peace, a small, perfect moment she can hold forever. Returning inside, Natasha walks the familiar corridor. The light above flickers, thin and yellow, casting long shadows. She listens to the quiet sounds behind doors, neighbors moving softly, someone reading, someone humming, someone settling into bed. The building itself seems to breathe, its old pipes sighing gently, its walls holding memories of countless days. She pauses at her own door, hands resting on the knob. The hallway feels like a river, and she is floating gently within it, carried by the quiet rhythm of shared life, where every sound, every breath, is part of a larger, enduring heartbeat. Natasha lies down, pulling the covers close. The candle's glow fades softly, shadows retreating to corners. She closes her eyes, listening to the soft pulse of the night. The distant tram, the wind over rooftops, the quiet murmur of the building settling into stillness. Her thoughts are light, drifting like snowflakes. Memories of the day, of laughter, of small kindnesses, rise and fall like gentle waves. And slowly, the world fades away. Only warmth remains, only quiet, and the gentle, steady heartbeat of life beneath the red sky. Natasha exhales, and with that single breath, she drifts into sleep. The first light of dawn slips softly through the frost-covered window. Pale orange and gray blend across the walls, painting the room in quiet warmth. Natasha stirs gently, stretching under the covers. The air is crisp, and she can smell the faint scent of the city waking. Smoke curling from chimneys, the soft rumble of trams beginning their routes. She takes a deep breath, feeling the calm of early morning. The world is still mostly asleep, yet quietly moving. It is a moment of serenity, a pause before the rhythm of life begins again. Natasha whispers to herself, another day, quietly beginning. The hallway hums softly with the stirrings of the building. Natasha steps into the small, shared bathroom. Steam rises from the basin, curling in slow, gentle ribbons. The sound of running water blends with distant voices, neighbors brushing their hair, washing their faces, preparing quietly for the day. She washes her face slowly, savoring the warmth and clarity of the water. Each drop feels like a soft rhythm, each reflection in the cracked mirror a gentle reminder. Life continues quietly, patiently, one small act at a time. The communal kitchen smells faintly of bread and tea. Natasha sits at her corner of the table, spooning warm porridge into a bowl. Steam rises lazily, curling around her hands and into the air. Outside the window, snowflakes drift gently, melting on the sill. The quiet clink of cutlery, murmured greetings, and soft laughter blend together into a gentle morning melody. She takes a sip of tea, letting the warmth seep into her chest. For a few calm moments, the world is simple. Shared space, shared life, and the soft, comforting rhythm of ordinary mornings. The tram rattles slowly through the awakening city. Frost clings to the windows, softening the view of gray buildings and red banners. Natasha stands, hands lightly gripping the metal rail. Her breath fogs the glass. Around her, commuters sway quietly, each caught in their own gentle rhythm. The hum of the tram, the distant clatter of boots on stone, and the occasional murmur of conversation create a soft, steady lullaby. She watches the world blur past, not in hurry, not in stress, but in a calm, flowing movement, as if the city itself is breathing in quiet time. The factory looms quietly in the pale morning light. Steam rises from vents, curling into the cold air. Natasha walks through the gates slowly, feeling the familiar weight of routine. Inside, the machines hum gently, their rhythm almost musical. Co-workers move with quiet precision, each step, each motion blending into a steady, comforting pattern. Natasha finds her station and settles in. The clatter and hiss of machinery surround her, yet her mind drifts softly, watching small movements, noticing quiet gestures, feeling the pulse of life flowing steadily through the day. And in that rhythm, she feels a gentle, enduring calm. The machines continue their steady hum, clanging, whirring, and hissing in a hypnotic pattern. Natasha's hands move automatically, turning, adjusting, and shaping with gentle precision. Each motion blends into the next, creating a quiet symphony of repetition. Around her, co-workers work in harmony, sharing fleeting glances, soft nods, and small smiles. The factory is alive yet calm, a world of quiet motions, soft rhythms, and steady breaths. Natasha closes her eyes for a moment, letting the pulse of the machines lull her mind into a slow, steady awareness, each second flowing gently into the next. Across the floor, a coworker passes a small bundle of cloth. Natasha reaches for it, and their hands brush lightly. She looks up, and for a fleeting second, they share a quiet smile. Soft, knowing, and comforting. It is a small act, almost invisible in the vast factory, yet it carries warmth. It reminds her that even within routine, human connection persists quietly, patiently, like a candle flickering in the soft shadow of a room. The moment passes, but its calm lingers. Natasha returns to her work, her heart light, her mind gently focused, ready to carry the rhythm forward. The whistle sounds softly. Machines settle into gentle hums as workers take a break. Natasha sits by the window with a small tin of tea. Steam rises slowly, curling lazily in the cold air. Outside, gray clouds drift softly, casting pale shadows on the snow-covered street. She watches a child in a red scarf play briefly in the courtyard. Laughter drifts faintly, blending with the soft chatter of coworkers. For a few moments, the world is calm, each breath unhurried, each thought floating lightly, like snowflakes drifting on a quiet winter breeze. Returning to her station, Natasha walks the narrow corridor. The walls are painted in faded colors. The floorboards creak under her slippers. The sound of distant voices mixes with the hum of machines. Somewhere, a kettle whistles. A soft cough echoes through the hallway. Each sound is familiar, comforting, a gentle reminder of life continuing steadily, even amidst the clatter and routine. Natasha pauses briefly, breathing in the quiet, letting the rhythm of her surroundings settle like a gentle tide within her mind. Back at her station, Natasha adjusts her tools. The machine's steady pulse surrounds her like a lullaby. She leans slightly, noticing the soft light filtering through the high windows. Dust motes float lazily in the sunbeams, dancing in quiet arcs before fading into shadows. The world feels gentle here. Even in repetition, even in work, there is a quiet grace. She exhales slowly, letting her shoulders relax. For a brief instant, she feels weightless, suspended in a calm, unbroken stream of ordinary life. Soft, steady, and reassuring. The afternoon sun filters weakly through tall windows, painting long lines of gold and gray across the concrete floor. The factory hum softens. The sounds feel slower now, as if time itself is resting for a while. Natasha wipes her hands and watches the light move from one wall to another, shifting gently, like a quiet promise that the day will soon end. The machines continue, steady but subdued, their rhythm blending into the stillness. Somewhere in the distance, a radio plays a faint tune, a melody almost forgotten, but full of warmth. She hums along, barely audible, letting the soft music weave through her thoughts like a lullaby. During a short break, Natasha stands near the door, sipping warm tea from a metal cup. Beside her, two co-workers speak softly, their words gentle, almost whispers. They talk about the weather, the ration cards, and how the snow seems to fall slower this winter. Their laughter is quiet, honest, the kind that makes a gray day feel a little brighter. Natasha smiles but says nothing. She simply listens to their voices, to the calm between words, to the subtle comfort of shared presence. Sometimes, connection doesn't need conversation. Sometimes, it's enough to stand together, in silence that feels safe. As the day nears its end, The light outside grows softer, melting into shades of blue and silver. The factory windows glisten with frost. Workers begin to slow, their motions less hurried, their breaths deeper. Natasha glances once more at the clock. Almost time to leave. A small sense of peace fills her, a quiet satisfaction that the day has been lived, steady and full, like a well-played melody. The sound of machinery fades gradually, leaving only the echo of its rhythm, humming softly in her mind. The gates open. The cold evening air greets her like an old friend. Steam rises from the vents. The ground sparkles faintly under the lamplight. The street outside the factory is quiet, lined with footprints and the faint scent of smoke. Natasha pulls her scarf tighter, her breath forming small clouds that disappear into the night. Around her, people walk in silence, each heading home, each carrying their own quiet story. The city glows softly, as if wrapped in a dream. And in that stillness, Natasha feels the strange beauty of ordinary life. Her boots crunch gently in the snow. Streetlights flicker, casting warm pools of light along the narrow road. Shadows stretch and fade as she walks, passing old walls, wooden fences, and distant windows glowing amber. The sound of her footsteps is slow, rhythmic, a soft percussion beneath the whispering wind. Somewhere far away, a radio plays a slow waltz. The music floats through the evening air, and Natasha imagines the city itself humming along. She feels calm, untethered. The world is quiet now, gentle, patient, infinite in its stillness. And as she walks, she knows, this too is life's lullaby. Natasha reaches her building's courtyard. Snow drifts gently from the sky, each flake illuminated by the dim yellow glow of a single street lamp. The courtyard is almost silent, only the faint creak of a swing and the distant echo of footsteps fading away. Children's toys rest under the benches, forgotten until morning. Some windows glow faintly with life, a family laughing softly, an old man reading by lamplight, someone preparing soup for dinner. Natasha pauses, taking a slow breath. The scent of wood smoke fills the air. The cold feels softer now, like the world is exhaling, slowing down with her. She pushes open the heavy door to her building. The air inside is warmer, thick with the scent of old wood, dust, and tea. The hallway is long and narrow. She walks quietly, passing rows of boots, coats, and a bicycle that never moves. Her door creaks open. The small apartment welcomes her, with familiar silence. The walls are pale, the furniture modest, but every corner carries her story. A half-read book, a folded blanket, a photo of her parents in the countryside. She sets down her bag, removes her coat, and sits for a moment in stillness. Outside, the snow continues to fall, soft, endless, and peaceful. The kettle hums on the stove. Its soft whistle fills the room like a lullaby. Natasha moves slowly, her motions unhurried, pouring water, slicing bread, stirring sugar into her tea. Each action feels delicate, meaningful. A small act of care in a world of noise. She lights a candle, its flame flickering softly against the walls. The dim glow makes her kitchen look almost golden. In that light, even the simplest objects, the spoon, the cup, the window, feel like part of a quiet ritual of life. The phone rings, a low, gentle buzz from across the room. It's her friend Olga. Their voices are soft, warm like old blankets. They talk about nothing urgent, a new film showing next week, a book they both want to read, and how the snow seems never-ending this year. Between the pauses, there's laughter, light and sleepy. Their friendship feels like a bridge across the cold. After hanging up, Natasha sits in silence again. But the warmth of their conversation lingers in the air. Outside, the wind brushes gently against the window, as if echoing their laughter into the night. The candle burns low. Shadows dance softly along the walls. Natasha opens her notebook, a small journal she keeps by the bedside. Her handwriting curves gently across the page. She writes about her day, about the snow, the people at work, the soft sound of the tram passing outside. Her thoughts are slow, like ripples in calm water. Each word a whisper to herself, a quiet reminder that even in the stillness, life moves, breathes, and continues. She closes the book. The flame flickers once, then steadies. Her eyes grow heavy. The world outside is silent now. And within that silence, a deep peace begins to bloom. The city has fallen silent. Even the trams have stopped. Through her window, Natasha can see the faint shimmer of snow on the rooftops. Silver under the moonlight, still and endless. The air inside is warm. The candle flickers beside her, casting soft waves of light that move like gentle thoughts. She listens to the ticking of the clock, to the sigh of the wind outside, to the heartbeat of quiet that fills the entire room. The day feels far away now, like a dream slowly dissolving into night. Natasha pours herself another cup of tea, the last one for the evening. Steam rises slowly, curling into the dim air. She cradles the cup in both hands, feeling the warmth seep into her skin. Her mind drifts to memories. Summer days in the countryside, her mother's laughter, the smell of fresh bread cooling on a wooden table. Each memory feels distant but safe, like soft lights glowing across a frozen lake. She takes a slow sip and lets the warmth settle deep within her chest. A quiet comfort, simple and eternal. She opens the small wooden box on her table. Inside are letters tied with faded ribbon, and a few black and white photographs. Faces of family, friends long gone, moments captured in another lifetime. She runs her fingers over the paper, thin, fragile, but alive with stories. The letters speak of hope, of dreams once bright, of a world that keeps turning, no matter how much it changes. Natasha smiles softly. The past feels close tonight, not as a weight, but as a lullaby that hums quietly in her heart. She walks to the window. Outside, the snow falls thicker now, slow, graceful, thinness. Streetlights paint the air gold and white. Every flake moves differently, yet together they create perfect silence. In that silence, Natasha feels a strange peace, a stillness that asks for nothing, that simply is. She watches until her eyes grow heavy, and the world outside blurs softly, like a painting left in the rain. The snow keeps falling, and she lets it lull her into stillness. The candle burns low, its flame small but steady. Natasha folds the blanket at the foot of her bed, lays down her cup, and turns off the light. The room darkens slowly, as if night itself is whispering her name. She slips beneath the blanket, feeling the quiet weight of warmth cover her body. Her breathing slows. Her thoughts begin to fade, one by one, like distant stars dimming in the dawn. Outside, the snow continues its endless song. Inside, peace settles completely. And in that perfect stillness, sleep begins to bloom, gentle, calm, eternal. The sound of her breath is the only thing that moves. Slow, even, gentle. Outside the window, snow keeps falling, each flake landing softly, as if afraid to wake the earth. Natasha lies still, eyes half closed, thoughts dissolving like mist. The city beyond her walls is wrapped in silence. No footsteps, no engines, only the faint hum of a world at rest. She feels her heartbeat slowing, blending with the quiet rhythm of the night. It's the moment between waking and sleep, where time loses its edges, and peace begins to bloom inside her. In the gentle haze between dreams, she sees faint echoes of the day. A tram passing through morning fog, the smell of metal and oil from the factory, the laughter of two coworkers sharing tea. But these are no longer memories. They're soft, floating impressions, weightless and kind. The noise of work, the voices of the crowd, the endless gray of the city, all of it fades, turning into watercolor light that flows and shimmers in her mind. Natasha smiles in her sleep. Even in dreams, the ordinary moments glow with quiet beauty. She dreams of a river, wide, silver, endless. The surface moves slowly, reflecting clouds and moonlight. On the far bank, trees bend in the wind, their leaves whispering secrets to the stars. She walks beside the water, barefoot, feeling the cool soil beneath her feet. The air smells of rain and lilacs. Each step feels lighter, each breath freer. There is no factory here, no schedule, no rush. Only the steady rhythm of water, singing her deeper into peace. The dream shifts. Now she stands before an old wooden house. Its windows glow faintly from within, like lanterns waiting to be found. Inside, everything feels familiar. The ticking clock, the scent of fresh bread, her mother's soft voice calling from the kitchen. She walks through the rooms slowly, touching the walls, feeling the warmth of the past. Each memory unfolds gently. The bedtime story, a childhood song, a laughter that still echoes across time. The dream isn't sad. It's calm. It's home. Now the house fades, and Natasha finds herself standing in a vast, open snowfield. The horizon glows blue and silver. No footsteps, no noise, only the whisper of wind over ice. She looks up, and the sky is filled with stars, thousands of them, shimmering softly, like sparks of memory floating through eternity. She feels weightless, as if the earth itself is cradling her. The snow is not cold, it's soft, like clouds, like rest. Somewhere far away, a lullaby plays, a song from another time, guiding her deeper into sleep. Her breathing slows again. The dream expands, and the night, infinite and kind, welcomes her completely. In her dream, Natasha stands beside a railway track. But this is no ordinary train. Each carriage is made of light, soft silver, shimmering, endless. It moves silently through the sky, cutting across clouds and constellations. She steps aboard, and inside, everything glows with a quiet warmth. Old passengers smile gently, faces she remembers but can't quite name. Their eyes shine with peace, not words. The train hums softly, a lullaby made of movement and memory. Outside the window, stars drift by, slow as snowflakes, infinite as dreams. The train stops in a glowing station, and Natasha finds herself inside an endless library. Shelves stretch into the horizon, filled with books that hum faintly, as if each one is alive. She pulls out a book at random. Its pages are blank, but when she touches them, scenes from her life appear in moving light. A childhood winter, a quiet birthday, a smile shared on a rainy morning. Each page whispers softly, "You were here. You mattered." She closes the book and places it back. All around her, the library glows like a galaxy of memory. And she walks deeper into it, peaceful, weightless, as if time itself has opened its arms. The library fades, and she finds herself walking on a bridge made of glass. Beneath her, flowing rivers of light. Above her, a sky of deep indigo. Every step she takes ripples softly through the stars. At the center of the bridge, she pauses and looks down, seeing moments from her life moving like reflections in the water. Her first day at work, the laughter of friends, a sunset she once watched alone. Each memory drifts past gently, not to be held, but to be blessed and released. Natasha whispers, "Thank you," and the bridge glows brighter, as if the universe itself has heard her. Beyond the bridge lies a forest, trees tall as towers, their branches glowing with tiny golden lights. The air smells of pine and rain. Every leaf seems to breathe. As she walks through, soft motes of light swirl around her, not fireflies, but fragments of dreams. They brush against her arms, warm and gentle, each carrying a forgotten joy. A quiet moment of love. She feels lighter with every step, as if the forest is washing away the last dust of worry. By the time she reaches its heart, she feels pure, clear as morning air. At the center of the forest, Natasha finds a lake, so still it mirrors the stars perfectly. The surface doesn't move, yet it seems alive. She kneels at the water's edge, touching it softly. Ripples spread slowly, each one glowing faintly before fading into calm. She sees her reflection, peaceful, timeless, her face lit by the light of countless stars. The wind is quiet now. Even her thoughts are silent. For a long moment, there is only stillness, only breath, only peace. The lake seems to whisper, "Rest now. You are home." Natasha closes her eyes. The dream dissolves into silver light, and the night deepens into perfect, infinite calm. The lake fades slowly, turning into a sea of stars. Natasha feels herself rising, weightless, calm, like a leaf carried on a quiet breeze. She drifts higher, past silver clouds and blue light, until the world below becomes a soft, glowing circle. Around her, stars hum gently, not with sound, but with warmth, as if the universe is breathing with her. Each star seems alive, each pulse a heartbeat of eternity. She lets herself drift, safe, serene, held by something infinite and kind. The stars rearrange themselves slowly, forming shapes she recognizes: a deer, a harp, a sleeping moon. She finds herself walking through them, as if among living constellations. Each one glows softly, and when she passes, they bend their light toward her, welcoming, blessing, remembering. There are flowers too, made of light and air. When she touches them, they dissolve into golden dust, then reform in the distance, forever reborn. Every breath feels eternal, every step lighter than the last. It is not a dream anymore, it's peace in motion. From somewhere beyond the stars, a soft voice begins to speak. It is not loud, it's more like a vibration inside her heart. It says, "You are not lost. You were never lost. Every moment, every silence, was leading you home." The words drift through her, not as sound, but as warmth. Tears form, not from sadness, but from relief, as if the universe itself has gently reminded her that she has always belonged. The voice fades into light, and the light becomes everything. Natasha looks down, but there is no ground, only stars, and a reflection of herself glowing softly. She realizes the stars are not above her, they are inside her. Every light, every shimmer, every memory is part of her being. The dreams, the childhood laughter, the nights of loneliness, all of it shines now, woven together into a single gentle glow. She feels whole. She feels endless. There is no separation anymore. Only stillness, only belonging, only light. Slowly, the light begins to fade. Not disappearing, just softening, like dawn behind closed eyes. The stars melt into silver mist. The warmth turns into air, and Natasha begins to drift downward again. Not falling, just sinking into comfort. The world reforms quietly. The snow outside, the candle by her bed, the steady rhythm of her breath. She is home again. The dream remains, glowing faintly in her chest, like a secret she will never forget. Outside, the first hint of morning begins to glow. But inside her, it is still night, peaceful, endless, and kind. Soft light seeps through the curtains. The world outside is still, a pale gray before sunrise, a breath between night and day. Natasha stirs slightly, her hand resting near the candle that has long gone out. The air is cool and gentle. Somewhere far off, a bird begins its first song, a single note, fragile and pure. Her eyes remain closed, but she feels the warmth of morning, gathering softly around her. The dream has not vanished. It floats quietly in her chest, like a soft echo of starlight. Natasha's breath deepens. Her eyelids flutter open halfway. The room is faintly gold now, lit by the early sun touching the windowsill. She stretches slowly, not to begin the day, but to savor the feeling of peace that still wraps around her like silk. Her body feels light, as if she has slept not just through the night, but through time itself. For a long moment, she simply lies still, listening to the hush of morning, the distant hum of life returning. Every sound feels kind, every ray of light, gentle. When she opens it, a cool breath of air fills the room, fresh, clean. The city below is covered in soft snow, its streets shining faintly in the dawn. Smoke rises from chimneys. A few early footsteps crunch on the ground. Life is waking again. Natasha smiles faintly. It feels as though the world is breathing with her. A shared rhythm, slow and calm. She inhales deeply, and the scent of the cold morning fills her lungs with clarity. In the kitchen, she lights the stove and prepares tea once more. The sound of boiling water blends with the faint hum of the radiator, a simple, peaceful symphony. She sits at the small table, hands wrapped around her cup. The candle from last night still stands nearby. Its wick black, its wax hardened in graceful shapes. She takes a sip of her tea. It tastes of warmth, of home, of gentle new beginnings. Nothing has changed, yet everything feels softer, as if the dream has rewritten the world in tenderness. Natasha opens her journal again. The page is blank, waiting. She writes only one line. I will remember the quiet. Then she closes it, placing her hand over the cover, as if sealing the piece inside. Outside, daylight grows. The snow glows white and endless. She stands for a moment, watching the world awaken. And within her, that same calm hums gently, unshaken, unbroken. It will stay with her, in every breath, in every silence, in every soft moment yet to come. The world is awake now, but her heart remains dreaming. The sun has risen fully now. Soft gold fills the apartment, painting the floorboards with warmth. Natasha dresses slowly, the wool sweater, her favorite scarf, the small pin she always wears near her heart. Each motion is unhurried, each breath steady. When she opens the door, a wave of cool air greets her, fresh, alive, and full of promise. She steps outside, her boots pressing small patterns into the untouched snow. Each footprint glows faintly in the morning light, as if even the earth remembers her dream. The streets are waking, softly without rush. Children in scarves laugh as they hurry to school. A vendor opens his cart, steam rising from fresh bread. Somewhere, a radio hums a quiet tune from an open window. Its melody floats through the air, gentle as morning mist. Natasha walks slowly, watching the world unfold. Every person, every movement, part of a calm rhythm she feels inside herself. The noise of the city no longer feels heavy. It feels like a heartbeat, steady human life. She reaches the bridge that crosses the frozen river. The ice below glows pale blue under the morning sun, cracked in delicate, beautiful patterns. She stops in the middle, leaning against the railing. The air is crisp, the light almost silver. She looks at the horizon, where the city meets the sky, and for a moment, she feels that same vast stillness from her dream. The stars, the train of light, the voice in the silence. It all lives quietly within her now. She smiles, a small, contented smile, and whispers a simple word, "Thank you." At the corner of the next street, a tiny cafe glows warmly behind fogged windows. Natasha steps inside. The bell above the door rings softly. The smell of coffee, fresh bread, and warmth greets her instantly. She sits near the window, hands wrapped around a porcelain cup. Outside, people pass, some hurried, some lost in thought. But from inside, everything feels slower, softer, like the dream still hasn't ended. She watches the snow fall again, and the world seems to move in gentle harmony. From her bag, she pulls out a small notebook, the same one she wrote in last night. She flips to a new page, takes a slow breath, and begins to write. The world is quiet when I am quiet. Peace is something I can carry. Even the noise becomes music when I listen softly. She closes the notebook and rests her hand on it. Her tea has gone cold, but her heart feels warm. Outside, the city hums with life. Instead, she smiles, still wrapped in that gentle, unbroken calm that began with snow and a dream. The city hums gently, its rhythm softened by distance and snow. Natasha walks along the narrow street, sound a cart rolling, a door creaking, a distant laugh, muffled into something almost musical. The scent of coal smoke drifts in the air, mixed with the faint sweetness of bread from the bakery ahead. She watches a sparrow hop near her boots, its tiny movements quick and light, its feathers fluffed against the cold. The world feels small, contained, and tender. Every detail carries the hush of morning calm, and every breath feels like a quiet prayer. Natasha steps onto an old tram, its metal frame groaning softly as it moves. Inside, everything sways in rhythm. The dangling hand straps, the slow hum of the wheels, the passengers lost in their own quiet thoughts. Frost clings to the windows, turning the city outside into a blur of light and movement. An old woman knits slowly in the corner. A young man reads a worn book. No one speaks, but the silence feels peaceful, shared, almost sacred. As the tram glides along its tracks, Natasha lets her eyes close, and for a brief moment, she feels as though she's floating. Through the fogged tram window, Natasha catches sight of the river again, the same one she crossed earlier. It glimmers faintly under the sun, a ribbon of light winding through the frozen city. Memories rise of her childhood walks with her father, his hand warm in hers, his voice telling stories of brave workers and faraway places. She can almost hear his laughter again, soft and low, blending with the sound of the tram. The past feels near, as if time itself has folded gently around her, bringing all her yesterdays closer to the quiet of today. The tram stops near a large stone building, the old city library. Natasha steps inside. The warmth embraces her immediately, smelling of paper, dust, and wood polish. Every sound here is soft. Pages turning, footsteps brushing across the floor, a chair quietly sliding against the wood. She finds a corner seat near the window and opens a book at random. The words are simple, about people, love, patience, and the beauty of ordinary days. Her eyes move slowly over the lines, her mind calm, her breath steady. The library feels like a heartbeat, slow, steady, eternal. When she leaves the library, snow has begun to fall again. The flakes drift down softly, each one shining for a moment before melting on her coat. The world feels newly made, the noise gentle, the air clean and quiet. She pauses in the middle of the street, watching the snow swirl around the lamplights. Each flake catches the light, glowing like a memory, then fading into the air. Natasha smiles faintly, feeling the hush settle around her. The city breathes. She breathes with it. And in that shared stillness, everything feels whole. The snow has stopped. The air glows with the pale gold of afternoon light. Natasha walks through the market square, now quieter than usual. Vendors are packing away their stalls, folding cloth, stacking baskets, their laughter fading softly into the cold. The smell of roasted nuts lingers, mingling with wood smoke and the faint scent of pine. A small boy chases a pigeon, his laughter echoing briefly through the stillness. Natasha pauses to watch. Something about his joy feels timeless, a reminder that even in the grayest world, small lights always remain. She closes her eyes for a moment, listening to the square breathe. At the edge of the market stands a tiny bookshop. Its windows are misted, and the doorbell gives a tired little chime as she enters. Inside it smells of paper and the faint sweetness of old glue. A cat sleeps on the counter, its tail flicking lazily in rhythm with the ticking clock. Natasha browses slowly, her fingers brushing against worn spines. She finds a small poetry book, thin, faded, but somehow glowing softly under the dim light. When she opens it, a loose page falls out. On it, handwritten in blue ink. Even in silence, there is music. Even in winter, there is warmth. She smiles. It feels as if the world has whispered something directly to her. As she leaves the shop, the lamps have begun to flicker on, one by one, casting pools of amber light along the snow-covered street. The city shifts into its evening rhythm. A tram bell echoes faintly in the distance. Shadows stretch, and the air grows cooler. Natasha wraps her scarf tighter, watching her breath form soft clouds that dissolve into the dusk. She feels the gentle hum of the world around her, familiar, steady, cut. Everything slows, as if time itself is ready to rest. The same cafe she visited in the morning now glows in the dark like a lantern. Inside, a few quiet figures sip tea beneath yellow lights. Natasha chooses a corner seat by the window again. The snow outside has deepened, and the city lights shimmer faintly through it. A song plays softly from an old radio, a melody slow and warm, as if meant only for this hour. She watches the world move beyond the glass, the hush of evening settling like a blanket. Each sip of tea is slow, each breath steady. This is what peace feels like. Not loud or grand, but quiet, but beautiful. The street is calm now. The last trams rattle by, and the snow glows under the soft yellow of the lamps. Natasha walks home slowly, her boots crunching softly on the path. She passes familiar buildings, windows glowing warmly, shadows moving gently inside. Somewhere, a piano plays, notes faint, wandering into the night air. The sound follows her all the way home, blending with the whisper of the wind. As she climbs the stairs to her apartment, she feels the weight of the day dissolve, like snow melting on her coat. Each step brings her closer to the warmth, the stillness, the quiet that waits within. Natasha unlocks the door to her apartment. The familiar scent of home greets her. Wood polish, faint tea, and a lingering warmth from the radiator. Her coat hangs on the rack, boots resting quietly on the mat. She pauses for a moment, taking in the stillness. Everything is familiar and safe. The day's quiet hum fades behind her. Inside, she is alone with the soft rhythm of her own breath. The apartment feels like a cocoon, ready to hold her through the night. Natasha moves to the kitchen, lighting a small candle on the windowsill. Its flame flickers softly, casting golden shadows on the walls. She pours a cup of warm tea, its aroma comforting, calming. Every movement is slow, as if the apartment itself is slowing with her. She sits at the small table, hands wrapped around her cup, and breathes in deeply. The world outside continues, but here, everything is gentle, everything is soft. Natasha moves to her window, watching the snow fall once more. The flakes are tiny and delicate, landing softly on the ledge, melting almost instantly. Streetlights glow warmly, casting long shadows on the quiet streets. She leans her forehead against the glass, feeling the cold, but warmed from within by the stillness. It is a simple moment, but in its simplicity lies perfection, the quiet connection between her and the night. She opens her notebook one last time. The pages are blank, but her hand moves slowly, tracing memories of the day, whispers of dreams, soft thoughts that float like snowflakes. She writes gently. The world slows. I slow. Peace is here. She closes the notebook, placing it beside the candle. The flame dances once, then rests, as if nodding in agreement. The world outside continues quietly, but inside, everything feels complete. Natasha climbs into bed. The blankets are soft, enveloping her like a warm cloud. She lays her head on the pillow, eyes closing slowly. Outside, the city is silent. Inside, her heartbeat is calm, breathing slow and steady. The day, the dream, the gentle snow, all merge into a single thread of quiet. She drifts into sleep, carried by the memory of light, warmth, and peace. The night wraps around her completely. Her mind is soft, her heart is calm, and the world waits, gentle, still, infinite. Natasha lies in bed, her breathing slow, rhythmic, steady. The candle has burned low, its glow fading into the shadows. Her thoughts float lightly, like snowflakes drifting in still air. Memories of the day, the morning's calm, the quiet city streets, all melt together seamlessly. Her eyelids feel heavy, and slowly, gently, the world of wakefulness dissolves. Into dreams, into the soft warmth of night. In her dream, Natasha finds herself in a luminous garden. Trees shimmer softly, their branches waving as if to welcome her. The ground glows faintly beneath her feet, soft and forgiving. Light flows like water around her, touching every leaf, every petal, and filling her chest with calm. No sound disturbs the stillness, only the gentle whisper of movement, like a lullaby carried on air. She walks slowly, aware of every sensation, but utterly safe. A river appears, flowing gently through the garden. Its water is silver, smooth, and endless, reflecting light from no single source. Natasha kneels beside it, her fingers brushing the surface. Ripples spread outward, catching fragments of stars, echoes of her dreams, memories of calm mornings. She smiles softly. The river seems alive. Not rushing, not demanding, only existing, timeless and patient. She feels herself merge with its flow, drifting effortlessly along the current of serenity. The night around her hums gently. Soft voices float in the air, not loud, not insistent, but like the wind through leaves. They speak of peace, the rest of letting go. Natasha listens, her heart quiet, her mind still. Every whisper settles on her like a feather, pressing her gently into calmness. She allows herself to float fully, weightless, in a world made only for stillness and light. At last, Natasha feels herself dissolve into the garden, into the river, into the night itself. There is no distinction between her and the world. She becomes light, soft, warm, infinite. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought melds into the gentle pulse of the universe. The dream holds her completely, peaceful, and eternal. All is quiet, all is calm, all is light. Natasha floats above the garden, above the river, above the city itself. The sky stretches endlessly, a soft velvet canvas of deep blue. Stars shimmer faintly, like distant candles in a gentle night. She feels the vastness all around her, but it is not frightening, it is comforting. The world is quiet, steady, infinite. Her breath matches the pulse of the universe, slow, rhythmic, serene. A circle of soft golden light forms around Natasha. It hums quietly, not loud or intrusive, but like a warm hug of air and warmth. She steps into it effortlessly and feels every worry, every thought, dissolve into nothingness. The light holds her gently, like the final embrace before sleep. She allows herself to sink fully, knowing nothing can disturb this peace. From somewhere unseen, a voice speaks softly, like a feather brushing her ear. Rest now. You are safe. You are enough. Sleep deeply, and carry this calm with you. The words wrap around her, soothing and warm. She feels the weight of the day lifted, and every part of her being relaxes completely. Even the quiet city outside seems to hold its breath, waiting for her to rest. Natasha closes her eyes fully. The garden, the river, the stars, the warmth of her home, all merge into one soft, flowing presence. She is no longer separate from the world, but a part of its gentle rhythm. Every heartbeat, every sigh, every breath becomes a note in the lullaby of the universe. She drifts deeper, beyond thought, beyond worry, into the quiet infinity of night. The night wraps completely around her. All is still, all is calm, all is light. Natasha sleeps, safe, serene, infinite. The candle flickers one last time, then rests. The snow outside settles quietly. The city breathes softly, and the listener, like Natasha, is carried into the gentle arms of sleep. Peaceful, unbroken, and eternal, that a vast ocean stretches before her. Silver waves rising and falling in perfect rhythm. The air smells of rain and moonlight. No shore, no sound, only the slow heartbeat of the sea. Natasha stands barefoot on the surface, but the water holds her gently, as if recognizing her. Each wave carries a memory, after some faces she once loved. They pass softly through her mind, like light through water. The ocean hums a lullaby, ancient, jealous, and impossibly kind. In the distance, an island rises slowly from the mist. It glows faintly with golden light, surrounded by calm waters that shimmer like glass. Natasha drifts closer, and when she steps ashore, She hears faint echoes, her own voice, softly repeating her dreams. Every echo feels gentle, as if the island itself remembers her heart. She walks among trees of silver leaves, each one whispering fragments of forgotten peace. No fear, no rush. Only the sound of stillness. At the center of the island stands a small marble temple. Its pillars gleam with light, and the floor reflects the constellations above. Natasha enters slowly. The air feels sacred, filled with quiet power, but warm and welcoming. A soft light glows from the ceiling, and the stars themselves seem to breathe. She kneels, not from duty, but from peace. For the first time, she feels she understands. That rest is not an ending, but a return. The universe watches, silent, patient, loving. A deep, endless voice fills the temple. Gentle, melodic, familiar. You have walked far, through waking and dream, through light and silence. Now rest within the heart of the night. The voice continues, soft as mist. Every star is a memory, every breath, a prayer. You are both, and you are home. Natasha closes her eyes. Light surrounds her, soft, golden, Arnold. She feels no boundary, no separation. She is the light now. She is the calm. The island fades. The temple fades. Even the stars dissolve into a soft glow. Only peace remains. The ocean quiets. The air grows warm and still. Natasha sleeps deeper now. Beyond dreams, beyond thought, beyond sound. There is no beginning. Only gentle, endless rest. The listener feels it too. The calm spreading through every breath, every heartbeat, every whisper of thought. The world holds its silence. And in that silence, the soul finally sleeps. Somewhere far away, beyond the ocean of dreams, a soft light begins to glow. It is not bright, not sudden, just a faint warmth at the edge of the night. The darkness sighs, welcoming the change. Natasha feels it too. A golden shimmer beneath her eyelids, a warmth in her chest, a gentle stirring of life. She does not wake yet, but her dreams grow lighter, more alive, like the earth breathing before sunrise. The ocean fades away, and Natasha finds herself in a vast field of pale flowers. Dew glistens on each petal, catching the soft rays of morning. The sky above her blushes slowly, from deep blue to lavender, then to soft gold. A breeze drifts through the flowers, carrying the scent of warmth and new beginnings. She walks barefoot through the field, feeling the cool earth beneath her feet. Each step feels like waking, gently, as if the world wants her to rest just a little longer. Ahead, she hears a familiar sound, the quiet flow of water. The same river from her waking life appears again, but now it sparkles with morning light. Birds skim its surface, their wings cutting perfect reflections across the current. Natasha kneels beside it, cupping her hands to feel the coolness. The water runs between her fingers like time itself, soft, forgiving, endless. She smiles. The river seems to whisper, "You have rested well. Now carry this peace with you." The world opens wide above her now. Clouds drift apart, revealing an endless expanse of golden light. The warmth touches her face, so gentle it feels like an embrace. She breathes deeply, and the air feels full of possibility. In that breath, she feels every piece of her journey. The snow, the tram, the library, the sea, the stars. All of it still exists, but now it lives quietly within her. She is whole. She is free. She is light. The world brightens slowly, but Natasha remains still, half dreaming, half awake. Her eyes flutter open to the real morning light, spilling softly through her window. The snow outside glows gold. The city hums faintly in the distance. She exhales, a deep, contented sigh. There is no rush to rise, no noise to fill the silence. Only peace, only warmth, only the lingering calm of her journey through the night. Natasha closes her eyes again, not to sleep, but to feel, to remember that within her, the light of morning and the calm of night will always remain. The first true morning settles over the city. Sunlight filters gently through sheer curtains, painting quiet shapes on the walls. Natasha stirs slightly, breathing deeply, in and out, like the tide returning to shore. Her room glows softly, the candle on her table now only a melted memory. The air smells faintly of tea and snow, a calm scent, pure and clean. She doesn't move yet. The silence feels too beautiful to break. It's the silence of beginning again. Natasha sits up slowly, her blanket falling softly around her. The dream still lingers. The garden, temple, the ocean of light. Each fragment feels alive, floating at the edge of her mind like gentle echoes. She realizes something quietly profound. Those dreams weren't escapes. They were returns to herself. The world outside hums faintly. Distant footsteps, a kettle boiling somewhere below, a clock ticking its soft rhythm. The ordinary feels sacred. She walks to her window. The snow outside glows beneath the morning sun, each flake sparkling like tiny stars reborn. Children's laughter drifts faintly from the street below. A bird perches on the railing, shaking its feathers before taking flight. Natasha smiles, her breath fogging the glass, then fading away. For a moment, she feels that the world is breathing with her. Every inhale, every exhale, a shared rhythm between heart and sky. She whispers to herself, everything is new again. The kettle hums softly in the kitchen. Natasha pours hot water over fresh leaves, watching the golden swirl rise in the cup. The scent fills the air, bright, earthy, comforting. She sits at her table, hands wrapped around the cup, letting the warmth seep into her palms. Sunlight stretches slowly across the floor, creeping toward her feet like a gentle tide. Each sip feels like a continuation of her dream. Liquid calm, liquid peace. She closes her eyes and smiles, as if the whole morning were a silent gift. Natasha steps outside. The cold air greets her softly, cool on her skin, alive with tiny motions, birds, footsteps, quiet voices. She walks down the same path as before, but everything feels different. Not because the city has changed, but because she has. The world looks lighter. Every face she passes glows softly. Every sound feels like music. She realizes, rest doesn't just happen at night. Peace can live here too. In daylight, in motion, in every slow, kind breath. She keeps walking, and somewhere deep inside her, the dream still breathes. The streets are slowly waking. Pale light glides along the frozen rooftops, and the city hums like an orchestra tuning its instruments. Natasha walks quietly through it all, her boots pressing softly against the snow, each step a muffled note of peace. People move in the distance. A milk cart rattles, a tram sighs to a stop, steam rising in small clouds from its metal breath. Yet everything feels unhurried, as if time itself has decided to move gently today. The city, once gray and heavy, now looks silver and alive. Natasha feels she's walking through a memory that has decided to become kind. She stops by the bakery, a small shop tucked beneath an old stone arch. The scent of fresh bread drifts through the frosty air, warm and inviting. Inside, the baker hums softly as he stacks loaves on the wooden shelves, steam rising from the crusts in golden curls. Natasha watches quietly from the window, her breath making small clouds on the glass. She smiles, not just at the bread, but at the sight of simple work done with quiet care. She remembers how her mother used to bake, how the smell of dough and tea filled their apartment. The scent feels like home. It feels like childhood. For a moment, she lets herself simply stand there, breathing in the warmth, anchored between memory and morning. The tram arrives with its familiar clang and hiss. Natasha steps aboard, finding a seat near the window. The interior hums softly, the low electric buzz, the creak of metal, the murmurs of sleepy passengers. Outside, the city glides by, factories, frozen canals, and people wrapped in scarves walking to work. Her reflection on the window seems older, wiser somehow. She touches the glass, feeling its coolness, watching how her face fades into the moving snow outside. It feels symbolic, as if she's both part of the world and gently apart from it, a quiet observer in motion. The tram crosses the Neva River, its surface shimmering under a pale sun. From the window, Natasha gazes at the frozen expanse, the slow drift of ice, and the faint mist that curls above the water. She remembers childhood winters, skating on makeshift rinks, laughing with friends, faces flushed red from the cold. That memory warms her more than her coat ever could. As the tram glides over the bridge, she feels a sense of renewal. The way the river flows endlessly beneath the stillness, always moving forward, never breaking its calm. The tram stops. Natasha steps down near an old library, its doors still closed, but golden light seeps through the cracks. She sits on the stone steps for a moment, watching sunlight dance on the frosted ground. The air smells faintly of paper and morning dust, a scent she's always loved, a promise of stories waiting quietly to be opened. She closes her eyes, tilts her head toward the light, and breathes deeply. Her thoughts slow again, like pages turning in an unseen book. In that moment, she feels no need to rush anywhere. Everything she needs, peace, memory, is already here. The library door creaks open, and a wave of warmth greets Natasha. The scent of old paper, wood polish, and faint ink wraps around her, like an old blanket. Inside, dust motes float lazily through golden beams of sunlight, dancing in the still air. Her footsteps echo softly across the marble floor, each sound fading into silence. Rows upon rows of books stretch endlessly before her, their faded spines glimmering like quiet memories. She pauses, takes a slow breath, and feels as though she has stepped not into a building, but into a dream still waiting to be remembered. She walks deeper into the aisles, her fingers brushing gently along the spines of forgotten books. Each title whispers something faint, as if stories themselves are alive, breathing softly in their sleep. A book slips slightly from the shelf, its cover worn, its title half faded, Life and Work of the Everyday Soviet. Natasha smiles faintly. She feels a strange comfort in it, as if the book has chosen her. She lifts it carefully, dust falling like light snow from its edges, and carries it to a small wooden table by the window. Natasha opens the book. The pages are yellowed, the ink faded, but the words are alive. They tell stories of workers, families, communal apartments, lives woven together in quiet struggle and unspoken strength. She reads slowly, hearing echoes of her own parents, her childhood, the shared kitchens, the laughter mixed with fatigue. Each paragraph feels like a heartbeat, steady and human. She smiles softly, whispering, "We were never alone, were we?" The silence answers kindly, "Oh, never." An elderly librarian appears from between the shelves, moving with quiet grace. Her hair is silver, her eyes kind, her hands gentle on the books she tends. She looks at Natasha and smiles knowingly. "That one," she says softly, "is full of real lives, ordinary but true." Natasha nods, closing the book carefully. "It feels like I've read this before," she says, "like I've lived it somehow." The librarian nods again, smiling faintly. "That's what stories do. They remember us when we forget ourselves." The words linger in the air, a truth so soft it could almost be a lullaby. Natasha walks back to the window, book still in her hands. Outside, snowflakes drift slowly past the glass, turning the city into a watercolor painting. She presses her palm against the cold pane, watching her reflection blur in the frost. Her eyes glimmer, not with sadness, but with a gentle understanding. The book rests on her lap, its weight comforting, like an old friend resting quietly beside her. In the stillness, Natasha feels the thin line between past and present dissolve. She is not just reading history, she is part of it. And in that realization, a profound peace settles over her heart. Natasha steps out of the library. The air feels softer now, the kind of cold that wakes the soul but never bites. Behind her, The wooden doors close with a gentle sigh. Before her lies the park, a stretch of white paths, tall birch trees, and benches covered in snow. Her breath forms small clouds as she walks. The city hums faintly in the distance, but here, it is only the sound of snowflakes falling, one by one, tiny, weightless moments landing on her coat. Every sound, every breath feels slower. Time stretches like silk, and Natasha lets herself drift with it, unhurried, unafraid. Her boots make soft, rhythmic prints along the path. Each step is like a heartbeat, steady, calm, grounding. Children's laughter echoes faintly from afar, but soon it fades, replaced by the low whisper of wind weaving through the trees. The branches bend gently, letting snow fall in slow motion, sparkling as it touches the ground. Natasha tilts her face upward. Snowflakes melt against her eyelashes, tiny crystals of peace. She thinks of nothing now. No plans, no memories, just the simple rhythm of her breath and the deep quiet that the world offers her. She finds an old wooden bench beneath a birch tree. Its surface glistens with frost, but she brushes a spot clear and sits down. The park around her is vast, painted in silver and white. For a while, she just sits, listening to the snow, watching the air shimmer like light underwater. The silence feels alive, not empty, but full of unseen presence. Memories, seasons, love, and rest. She places the book beside her, as if letting it breathe too. Somewhere deep inside, she feels a small warmth bloom, like a candle lit in a quiet church. It doesn't speak, it just is. The wind shifts gently, and Natasha closes her eyes. In the soft rustling of the birches, she hears whispers, familiar voices, kind laughter, the faint echo of her mother's song. It feels like a dream, but it also feels like memory. She smiles, not opening her eyes, letting the sound wash over her like a lullaby. It's all right, the wind seems to say. You've done enough for today. Rest. Her shoulders relax. Her heartbeat slows. Everything inside her becomes light, drifting, dissolving. When Natasha opens her eyes again, the world has turned into stillness. The park glows faintly, as though the snow itself carries its own soft light. Far above, the clouds drift apart, and the morning sun peeks through. Pale and tender, she sits quietly, hands folded in her lap, watching the golden shimmer spread across the frozen pond. For a moment, it feels as if everything, the city, the snow, her heartbeat, even time itself, has come to rest. No thoughts, no fears, only breath, only peace. Natasha closes her eyes once more, and the world exhales with her, a perfect silence that hums like eternity. The afternoon light begins to soften, turning the snow from silver to gold. The air carries that quiet tone that comes just before twilight, when even the wind seems to hush, afraid to disturb the calm. Natasha sits still on the bench, watching the glow move slowly across the trees, and her own hands. Her fingers trace invisible lines in the air, like writing a message only the world can read. A small bird lands nearby, its feathers puffed against the cold. It chirps once, softly, then stays beside her, silent, as if keeping her company. The world feels balanced, held between day and night, breath and stillness. In the distance, the city begins to hum again, soft and low, like a lullaby remembered from far away. The tram bells, the faint chatter, the closing of windows, all blending into one gentle rhythm. But here in the park, those sounds seem to arrive as echoes, already fading, already past. Natasha listens with her eyes closed. The noises don't disturb her, they wrap around her, soothing, like waves at the edge of sleep. She realizes something beautiful. That peace is not the absence of life, but the acceptance of it. Every sound, every motion, it all belongs. The sky deepens, golden fades to blue, and blue slides gently into violet. The first stars appear, shy and trembling. Natasha watches their faint flicker, through the branches of the birch trees. Each one feels like a memory, a quiet reminder that everything shines. In its own small way, the cold air brushes against her cheeks, soft as silk. She exhales slowly, her breath forming little clouds that rise and disappear, just like thoughts do when you let them go. Her body relaxes completely now. Her shoulders melt into stillness. Her eyes grow heavier. The night has arrived. To cradle her, a figure appears at the edge of the path, an old man carrying a lantern. Its warm, golden light swings gently with his steps, casting small halos on the snow. He doesn't speak. He only nods as he passes Natasha, a silent greeting between two souls who understand the quiet. The light flickers briefly on her face, then fades as he walks away, disappearing into the trees. She watches until he's gone, and for a moment, the glow seems to linger in the air, a soft reminder that light always finds its way, even in silence. Darkness settles fully now, but it's not the kind that hides. It's the kind that comforts. The stars shimmer brighter, their reflections scattered across the frozen pond, like tiny candles of the universe. Natasha leans back on the bench, her scarf wrapped close, her heartbeat slow and steady. The world feels weightless, as if floating between waking and dream. She whispers softly, to no one and to everything, "Thank you for the quiet." The words drift upward, mixing with the wind, the snow, and the gentle pulse of the stars. And as her eyes finally close, the night folds around her, like a tender blanket of peace. Somewhere between the falling snow and her closing eyes, a soft light begins to bloom. It's not from the lanterns or the stars, it's from within. A golden glow spreads gently through the air, touching the trees, the empty path. Everything looks the same, yet more life, as if the world has become transparent, revealing its quiet heart. Natasha feels her body grow lighter. The weight of the day, the years, the memories, they drift away like feathers on a slow river. She exhales once, and the world exhales with her. The dream has opened its door. She finds herself standing on a bridge, made of soft, glowing light. Below her, the river from earlier flows again, but now it shimmers with constellations. Each ripple carries the reflection of distant galaxies, stretching into infinity. As she walks, the stars beneath her feet pulse gently, as if welcoming her home. There's no fear, no sound, no cold, only a deep, radiant stillness. Every step feels lighter than breath, every heartbeat slower than time. The dream doesn't rush, it only flows. Soft whispers begin to rise from the water, gentle, loving, familiar. They are not words, but feelings. Her mother's laughter, a friend's forgotten song, the hum of life lived quietly and well. The sounds weave around her, like music from another world, ancient, kind, endless. She closes her eyes, letting them drift through her, and for the first time, she feels what peace truly means. Not the absence of thought, but the warmth of belonging to everything. The dream carries her onward, floating. The bridge fades. Now, Natasha stands in a vast open field. Tall grass sways in a silver wind, and the horizon glows softly, as if dawn is being born inside the stars. There are no walls, no roads, no city, only space and light and the hum of eternity. A small figure appears in the distance, the librarian from earlier, smiling softly, holding the same book. She places it in Natasha's hands, whispering, "Your story is safe now." The book feels weightless, a memory gently closing its pages. Natasha lies down in the field, the grass bending softly beneath her. Above her, the sky glows with quiet constellations, each one pulsing like a heartbeat. She feels no boundaries anymore, only warmth, only stillness. The stars drift closer, like snowflakes made of light, resting on her skin, melting into peace. Her breath slows, matching the rhythm of the universe itself. And just before everything fades, a voice, soft, infinite, whispers through the air, Sleep now, you are home. Silence follows. A silence that feels eternal. A silence that dreams. Thank you for joining this quiet journey tonight. You've walked through memories, through snow and starlight, and now you've arrived in peace. If this story brought you calm, a moment of stillness, or even just one gentle breath of rest, then let that feeling stay with you. Pause, 3 seconds. Before you drift away completely, remember to leave a small light behind. A comment, so I know you were here. Pause, 2 seconds. And when you're ready for another story, another soft dream to fall asleep to, I'll be waiting. Pause, very slow breath. Good night, sleep deeply, and dream beautifully.